have a lot of books to talk to you about. I believe the number might be exactly 100. There's also a chance that I can't count. The books here are all of the books that I accumulated from January through June. There are a couple that I'm going to quickly mention that I did haul that I have since unhauled. Completely sold. They're not in my house anymore, so I can't show them to you. But we're going to go through month by month to see what I got. I have a variety in here. I have horror, thriller, sci-fi, romantasy, contemporary romance, some general contemporary literary fiction, some dystopian, what else? I think that might be it, but a lot of really exciting books that I have brought into my library this year, and I wanted to show them to you. We're gonna start over here with this stack, which is January. I have 11 books, so I think my plan is to tell you if at this point I have read them or not, if I bought it after reading it, if I think you should read it. Some of them I definitely have not read. So just in the order that I have this stack, I have Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is a dark rom-com. I did enjoy this one. It is the third in a trilogy. And then we have one that I have not read, and that is The Endless War by Danielle L. Jensen. This is book 4 in the romantasy series. I almost said trilogy. This is the reprint edition. Then we have one that I read before getting, and this was gifted to me from Katrina Brown, and that is The Night Guest by Hildur. I do not know how to pronounce this last name. This is a creepy little horror novella that I personally really enjoyed. Another one that I read and then bought this year, The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I've been really loving Paul Tremblay, and he's going to be at the National Book Festival this year, which I'm going to, so I wanted a copy of this to get signed. I had to hunt down a hardcover copy because I have the other ones and I have signed ones from him in hardcover, so I had to get those. Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry. It's a dark thriller, one of my favorites of the year. This mom that is in a car accident and her car like goes underwater. She thinks she's saving her son. Turns out that she is saving his friend, and there's only time to save one of them. So lots of very interesting feelings with that. Another one that I bought after I read it, this was actually the second copy because I somehow lost my first one. Like, I could not find it anywhere. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is a YA romantasy, I guess, kind of series. A Witch and a Witch Hunter. Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Shannon McGuire. This is book 9. I wish it said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, so this is 10. I've read all of them. I enjoyed this one, but it wasn't my favorite. Another one that I've read this year, this is the Evernight edition of Bat Eater, and Other Names for Cora Zhang is the extended title in the US, but there's sprayed edges and papers, things like that. I really enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites of the year. A really great horror with some good commentary in it. And then I have 3 more that I have not read, so I don't really know much to say. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. The Twisted Retreat version of Necrology by Meg Ripley. Spread edges on this one. Twisted Retreat does horror, so that one is horror. And then a Book of the Month copy of Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. One morning he's your husband, by nightfall he's a criminal, and these are his famous last words. I have both really enjoyed and disliked from Gillian McAllister, so a little nervous for that, but that is everything I got in January. I think this is my smallest stack for the year so far. Also, I feel like books are just gonna start falling over. I got this edition of The Hunger Games that came out. So I have The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that have this printed edition. The Hunger Games, I'm obsessed with it, so I needed to have that. I was also sent an early copy of The Sundowners Dance by Todd Kiesling. This is about this guy that moves into an old people, it's not a nursing home, but it's like a community. There's different rules and things, but there's some really weird stuff in here. I definitely enjoyed that one. Then we have a romantasy, Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerick. This is a giant one. This is book 1 in a series, and surprisingly it is one of my favorites of the year. It wasn't a 5-star, but it was 4.5, which I haven't even had 10 5-stars. So it's kind of been a sad time, but this is a fae story. I actually have a lot of not horror and thrillers this month because the next one is City of Mirth and Malice by Alexis L. Menard. This is the sequel to House of Bane and Blood, which is one of my favorites of the year. I didn't like this one quite as much, but it's a steampunk fantasy. Then I have Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the sequel to, I literally just told you about it, Heartless Hunter. So another YA fantasy romance. Then regular romance, we have Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. I got the first edition with these sprayed edges, college sports romance. And then Very Different, a literary fiction with some sci-fi, Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor. This is the first book that Starbright, which is Illumicrate's quarterly subscription box, picked. This was their February pick. Yes, I did call it literary fiction first. For me, it definitely is literary fiction and then has some sci-fi in it. But I do have this special edition of it. I have read everything that I bought in February, so that is the only month I've done that, but it happened once. Okay, this is my March stack. I'm going to start pulling from here because getting all of these done at once feels like too much work. So, the first 2 are gifts from Monica, from A Little Bit of Monica. They're actually Christmas presents, but we didn't meet up until later. Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is a romance, one of my favorites of last year. And then the other book she got me was Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver, which is another one of my favorites of last year. And she went to an event with her and got me a signed copy. That is very cool to have. Once again, that's a dark rom-com series. What is next? I actually don't even know. The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica. This is a kind of cult religious horror. It is a pretty short one, but also at the National Book Festival, this author is going to be there, so I'll be able to get this signed. I did like it. It wasn't my favorite, but I still had a good time. Then we have You Killed Me First by John Mars. I read this one as well. It was decent. I was a little disappointed by it, but it's a neighborhood drama thriller. Then I have not read this one yet, but it is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This is, I believe, a contemporary thriller kind of mystery. This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. This is a true crime thriller, very inspired by a real life case. I have not read this one yet either. One of my favorite books of the year, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I feel like I don't need to say anything else about that series. I also got You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pliego. This is a locked room island mystery thriller. I got this one from Aardvark Book Club. Another one from Aardvark, which I also got The Unworthy from. I got American Rapture by CJ Lead. It is signed. It's a pen signature, so not very dark. I don't know if you can see it. But this is a religious horror book. I actually have not read the rest of this stack, so I'm going to quickly go through it because I don't really know what happens in these books. Welcome to Meadowbrook by Cassandra L. Thompson. This, I believe, is short stories that weave together into a big overall story, and this is the Twisted Retreat edition. Another Twisted Retreat book, Hush My Darling by Lee Kenny. I don't know what this is about. A tourist goes on a road trip around Ireland. Then we have Vera Wang's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. Such long titles. This is the sequel to Vera Wang's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I really love that one. This is a cozy mystery series. And then I have 3 books that feel kind of random. The first one is Count My Lives by Sophie Steva. This is some sort of thriller. Then this was the month that they did their like book of the year stuff. So I got The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. This is, I think, literary sci-fi. And then this one was free, The Wedding People by Allison Espatch, which actually I should read this one very soon because this author is going to be at the National Book Festival as well. And it has this on the back. I think this is contemporary fiction about somebody who is unexpectedly going to a wedding. Honestly, I think we're gonna move up to the couch. So we are halfway through the months, but the next 3 months are the ones where I got more books. Okay, April is not too bad either. To start off, I was sent The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones from the publisher. This is the 3rd book in My Heart is a Chainsaw series. What is this series called? Now I'm blanking on what the series is called because it's not called The Angel of Indian Lake. The Indian Lake trilogy. Wow, I'm doing really great. I am obsessed with the first one, so I love the series. I also got Indigo Ridge by Daphne Perry, which is a bit out of my comfort zone, but it is a romantic suspense book that I really ended up enjoying. Then I got one that I am going to be unhauling. Independent Bookstore Day was in April, and one of the bookstores that I went to had this thing where if you spent a certain amount of money, you got an ARC for free, and they were wrapped up and you didn't really know what you were getting. I knew I was getting a thriller, but I have not heard of this book. Looking into it, like, I'm not super interested in really reading it. But that is Tell Me What I Am by Una Mannion. I'm just going to put this in a little free library near me. Then we have When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. This is a horror thriller that has a wolf in it. A werewolf, to be exact. Then we have one of my favorite books of the year, First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. This is inspired by Sleepless in Seattle. It's a rom-com that has to do with a radio station. I loved it. I loved it. Then we have the Owl Crate Romantasy quarterly box. This was their first pick, and that is Exquisite Ruin by Adrienne May. I keep going back and forth if I'm going to just unhaul this. I did cancel my subscription. I just don't know if their style choices are my favorite. I don't mind this one other than the fact that, like, I feel like these are two separate things and I don't like the inside. But I'm going back and forth between trying this because I haven't heard the best things about it. So I don't know. We'll see. This is Romantasy that has a labyrinth in it. Then quickly for Independent Bookstore Day, 2 books I have since unhauled, gotten rid of. Like, they're not in my house anymore. I did get that ARC. I also got First Time Caller during that event, as well as Snake Oil by Kelsey Ray Dinberg, which is a literary feminist thriller. I also got Victorian Psycho. This is a novella that I would say is also kind of literary feminist horror, but like feminist in a different way, I'm assuming. And then I also got Eat the Ones You Love by, I don't remember the author, and also Hot Singles in Your Area. Both of them I DNF'd and have gotten rid of. And then the other book that I am getting rid of, well, I don't have it anymore, but I read, was The House Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I got it for a video, hated it, DNF'd it, and got rid of it immediately. I also got The Last Session by Julia Bartz. This is a thriller following a woman that goes to a retreat, different than the writing retreat. It's like a psychological thing. Kind of similar, but also very different. I don't know how to explain it, but a weird time. And then 3 more that I have not read yet, so don't know really anything about them. A horror book, Sanctuary by Valentina Cano Repetto. This is another Twisted Retreat book. This one was sent to me by Poison Pen Press. It is Death on the Island by Eliza Reid. This is a 1-by-1 kind of trope, which I love. I love islands, so I think I'll like this one. And then lastly, I have The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose, the sequel to The Perfect Marriage, and it is the deluxe edition, but it's directly following that one, I believe. Okay, May and June, don't judge me, just don't. We're not going to talk about the amount of books. We're not. So for May, I have this stack here, and then this bonus stack, and then June is this stack and this stack. So yeah, great. In May was my birthday, so I got some stuff sent to me for that. Adam got me some books. I got some books. I get like a free book from Book of the Month, so I got a box from there. I think I got an aardvark box. Some special editions came in, like, we don't need to talk about it. I am gonna start with special editions and deluxe editions. I got Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This is a dystopian romance. That was from Book of the Month. They, I guess, now do sprayed edges every once in a while. I don't know. And then from Evernight, I got The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. Can we talk about this? Because this incredible. I did read this one and I enjoyed it. It's my favorite from Chuck Wendig so far. Have not read this. It's romantasy. I got the deluxe first edition of Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry, who is the author of Indigo Ridge, which I really enjoyed. And then from Fairy Loot, I got a special edition of Bonded by Thorns. This, I believe, was their August pick of last year. So I grabbed this because they were doing more in the series, which I did get later. That's how I choose romantasy. And then Owl Crate, I am signed up for their, well, I'm not signed up for romantasy anymore, but romantasy, sci-fi, and horror. So their sci-fi and horror are in the same month. So I got Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This one is on my Pango because I ended up getting 2 editions of this from different book boxes, and I personally preferred the other one more. But I really love the edges on this one. Very cool. And then I also got The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. Have not read this one yet, but I love Stephen Graham Jones. The books that Adam got me for my birthday, we just went to Barnes & Noble because it was on the way to something else we were going to, and I got Middle Tide by Sarah Crouch, which I have since DNF'd. And then 2 I have not read yet, The Vengeful Dead by Darcy Coates. This is the 5th book in the Gravekeeper series, which I've read books 1 through 3 this year, and I'm excited for this one. And then I also got This Girl's a Killer by Emma C. Wells, which I have not read, but it's a very feminist thriller book. Then I got my Aardvark Book Club box. Julie Chen is Dead by Lian Zhang. This one is so fun and weird. This looks like a cozy mystery to me, but it is a thriller. A horror book, Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang. Have not read this one yet, but I love natural beauty, so really high hopes for this one. And then another book by an author I have read from before. That one was really, really weird sci-fi. This one, probably going to be really, really weird sci-fi, but slightly more palatable to normal people. Disillusioned by Nicholas Binge. Have not read that one yet. I also showed you my 1 book of the month book, but then I got Enchantra, which is a sequel to Phantasma, so fantasy romance. I had a pre-order for the month, 1 in 4 by Lucinda Berry, a thriller about a psychologist working at a reality TV show. A book I got from Pango, Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. A literary horror, and then I got a couple that were sent to me. So Maggots Screaming by Max Booth III. This is from Mel from Eleanor Reads. A very fun, strange horror book. The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. I don't remember who sent this to me because I don't have the note in here, but I did mention the person when it was sent to me in whatever vlog I was working on at the time. But thank you to, who was that? I cannot remember. Also, Court from Reading with Court sent me Morsels by Aid Moss. This is a really, really creepy horror book that has to do with parents who maybe aren't who they used to be. Maria from Maria Might Read That got me House of Shadows by Darcy Coates because she has now been convinced to love horror by me and she likes the Gravekeeper series, so she sent me that. And then Monica from A Little Bit of Monica got me Navigating the Stars by Maria V. Snyder. This is the Australian edition, which I think is way better than the US one, so she's been getting me the series over time, so I have the 2nd and 3rd book already, and she got me the 1st one. May, I feel like I had some excuses for why I got so many books. June, don't ask me. I don't know how it happened. It was not my plan, but here we are. Like, this is a lot. Okay, so to start, do you ever just love something so much that you're like, I need more like this immediately? So in the middle of the night, you go online and buy something. Yeah, that was me. I read First Time Caller, and then I was like, I need more romance, and bought 11 books on Pango at 1 in the morning. I do not regret my choices. They also now have this filter where you can search for sellers that are selling different books. So I was like, listen, if somebody has multiple in the Love Light Farms series, I'm gonna get them. I have since read Love Light Farms, but that's it. Contemporary romance. Then I was like, well, what other things have I read that I want more of? So I got Juniper Hill, the sequel to Indigo Ridge. Then I got the 3rd book in the Rose Hill series, which Wild Love is the 1st one. And I was like, why not get some more L.C. Silver? And I have read the 1st one in the series, so I got the next 3 in the Chestnut Spring series. And then I was like, well, you know, that's cowboy romance. Another popular cowboy romance, the Done and Dusted series by Lila Sage. So I got the first 3 of those as well. So those are the contemporary romance books that I bought in the middle of the night because I just felt like I needed to. Here's the thing. I had money from selling things on Pango, so I don't think I spent more than $2 like of real money. That's how it works, right? Who cares about the money I spent to get the books that I sold initially? It was free. So there's that. And that is where a large chunk of my purchases came from. I also had a couple books sent to me. Sam from Samantha Donovan sent me They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, which is a thriller that I really loved, and Spy Family Volume 1, which is a manga that I really enjoyed. I need to get caught up on this one. I've fallen behind. Vanessa from Read with Dr. B got me Phantom Limb by Lucinda Berry, which is one of my absolute favorite books of this year. Made me cry. And I don't know where the note went in this one either, but I'm pretty sure somebody sent me The Last One by Will Dean. I can't remember who it was. Once again, that was mentioned in the vlog whenever I got it. Okay, so near me, there's a bookstore that does these book cruises. It's not a real cruise. It's not really book focused, but I live near a harbor and they do, like, you can get on a boat and it's usually a taxi, like a water taxi thing. But you can also book them to like take you around the harbor. So the bookstore does that. And then there's a book swap. So bring a book, take a book, whatever. I ended up getting an Arc of the Poppy Fields by Nikki Ehrlich. This is the author of The Measure, which I actually did not like the way a lot of people did. It was too inspirational, motivational. This one probably will be that same kind of story, but I wasn't really interested in anything else, so I grabbed this one. I did get an Aardvark box this month, so I got Someone Knows by Vi Keeland, which I have really enjoyed from. I read The Unraveling earlier this year, and it's one of my favorites. And then I also got The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling, which I have read from before. She has weird stuff. I've enjoyed some, not enjoyed some as much, but it's always a unique time. And then I had some pre-orders from authors I've read and loved from before. Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. I have not read this one yet. And then With a Vengeance by Riley Sager, which is a train locked room mystery thriller. Then I have my stack of special editions over here. To start, the reason why I'm getting rid of the other copy of Overgrowth, I have this one, which I personally like more. This is the Starbright box. It was their second box. It was the May pick, but I did get it in June. And then I got a copy of House of Bane and Blood. This is from Coveted Cover, and it has a cool transparent dust jacket. They did have some printing issues, so I think I'm going to be getting another copy of this at some point. But I am excited to have a copy of this. It is signed. It's really, really pretty. And then you know how I told you I canceled the Romantasy Owl Crate box? I got a Forbidden Alchemy. It's literally still in the plastic because I'm just going to be selling this on Pango. I've been told that people don't think I'm going to like this. It didn't seem like something I was super interested in. And then people that know things that I have loved and my preferences in what I'm reading with Romantasy have just told me not to read this. So I'm not going to. So I got Bonded by Thorns earlier. And then the next 3 came out for Fairy Loot. So I got the next 3 in the series. And then I have 2 Twisted Retreat books because the May one, I believe, came in June. And then I got the June book. So I have At Dark I Become Loathsome by Eric LaRocca. Horror, as usual. And then Wrecked by Alex Gonzalez. Both with sprayed edges. And then last but not least, I have The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. This is a thriller. They have a very cool first edition sprayed edge, so had to get that, of course. And I will be reading this in August because I am co-hosting the book troupe hosted by Gabby Reads. So those are the 100 books that I got in the first half of the year. So far the second half of the year has been a lot less books. I have brought in 1. So I will probably have a book haul at the end of the year. If you've read any of these books, I'd love to know your thoughts on them. Almost every single one that I talked about that I have read is in a vlog on my channel. And a lot of them will be in upcoming videos. But if there's one you're really looking forward to see my thoughts on, let me know. I'd also love to know what book you are most excited that you've had your hands on this year. Could be you bought it, could be you got it from the library. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!